Hello everyone, this is Donna with Vote Voiced, and I'm so happy to be back with you today. I thank you very much for joining my podcast, and I want to thank everyone who supports Vote Voiced. Today we're going to do some more talking about voting. And what I want to talk to you about right now is the Michigan ID requirements for voting in person. Now, I want you to know that you don't have to have an ID to vote. You can still vote in Michigan. You can use your Michigan's driver's license or your Michigan personal ID card. Now, you can also use photo IDs if they're not expired, like your driver's license or other ID issued by another state or federal government, your U.S. passport, your military ID, your school ID card from high school, and your school ID card from an accepted, accredited high school or post-high school institution, and your tribal ID card, okay? And remember, all these different IDs, they cannot be expired. But here is a very important point that I want everyone to remember in Michigan, is that even if you do not show ID, you can still vote a regular ballot if you sign a simple form. Okay? Now, you can still have a Michigan voter ID information card, and these cards are available in many different languages. Now, you can, like I said before, you can still vote without a Michigan's driver's license or a passport or a military card. You can still vote by signing an affidavit. Now, there is a helpline at voteriders.org. And voteriders.org will help you with a free voter ID help, okay? And I'm going to give you that information. You can call or text 844-338-8743, okay? And that's really, really good information to have. Just go to voteriders.org. Here at Vote Voiced, we like to support organizations that help you, okay? And I like to give you all the information you need so you can get your ID, okay? They'll help you find documents, and they will cover the costs. So once again, if you need help with your ID, go to voteriders.org. Okay, so our next information is going to be how you can obtain an absentee ballot that will help you vote at home. Because all registered voters in Michigan can vote using an absentee ballot. You do not need an excuse or reason. You can vote absentee ballot through the mail without leaving your home. That's convenient. If you're ill or during COVID, it was very, very helpful. You can also go to your city or township's clerk's office or drop box to return your absentee ballot, which is great. The Secretary of State recommends if you're returning a ballot to return a ballot within 2 weeks of an election day in order to avoid possible postal delays. So you really have to, as soon as your ballot comes, you really should fill it out and mail it in as quickly as possible. Don't wait. because you really need to have your absentee ballot in on time. Now, within 2 weeks of election day, once again, to avoid possible postal delays, you should make your request in person at your local city or township clerk. You'll be able to fill out and submit your ballot there. So if you wait to request your ballot, okay, you remember that within 2 weeks of that election, you really need to go into your local city or township clerk to do that. Now, you registered voters can request an absentee ballot online, okay? And all you have to do is just go to michigan.gov/vote, and you can see where you can request your absentee voter form. You have to do that before 5 p.m. the Friday before the election, okay? You can call your city or township clerk and ask that the application be mailed to you. You really need to do that as quickly as possible. You can call your city or township. Okay, now you can download an application to return it so that you can return it by mail or in person to your local city clerk or township clerk. You can go in person to your local city or township clerk, or you can call them. Wherever you live, just find out where your clerk's office is. Now, once again, you can call your city or township clerk and ask them for an application to be mailed to you, or you can download an application, return it by mail or in person to your local or city or township clerk. Let's talk about military. Okay, if you are in the military or overseas for any reason, special services are provided to assist military and overseas citizen voters to participate in elections. If you are a military or overseas citizen voter who is eligible to vote in Michigan, you can register to vote. Just go to the Federal Voting Assistance Program, and you just download and complete a federal postcard application. That's the FPCA, and the FPCA can also be used to obtain an absent voter ballot by email, fax, or regular mail. Let's see, if you want to obtain an absent voter ballot by email, fax, or regular mail, you just go once again to Federal Voting Assistance Program, download that federal postcard, complete and submit it by mail, fax, or scan or email it to your local clerk based on your home residence. You can check the appropriate box for email, fax, or mail. Now, the FPCA can also be used to register to vote, and you can just go to the Michigan Voter Information Center to locate your home residence, city, or township clerk. You can check the status of a requested absent voter ballot, once again by going to Michigan Voter Information Center. Just go to michigan.gov and type in the requested information. Your absent voter ballot status will display along with other information. You can check your registration status in Michigan, once again by going to the Michigan Voter Information Center and just follow the instructions. You can contact your city or township clerk in Michigan. Just go to your Michigan Voter Information Center and then click on Find Your Clerk. You can obtain assistance and ask a question. Just go to Michigan Voter Information Center and click on Contact SOS, which is your Secretary of State. And I want to give you some more information. Okay, let's talk about voters with disabilities. We don't talk about that enough. here in Michigan, the Bureau of Elections now has an ombudsman person for accessible elections to respond to and assist individuals with disabilities attempting to vote. To speak with an ombudsman for accessible elections, just call 517-335-2730, or you can email them at mods-adavoting@michigan.gov. Now, blind voters and others with severe disabilities that prevent them from voting absent voter ballots privately and independently can apply for an accessible absent voter ballot. The accessible ballot allows voters to mark the documents on an electronic device using their own assistive technology without visiting a polling place or clerk's office. Voters with print disabilities may apply for an accessible electronic absent voter ballot that can be completed electronically, printed, and returned to the local clerk. You can apply online for an accessible electronic absent voter ballot. Just go to michigan.gov/vote. Okay. Let's talk about something that it concerns people, and let's talk about election security. Okay, now Michigan has adopted many national best practices to strengthen the system and ensure elections are accurate and secure. They have upgraded voting technology, improved the qualified voter file system, joined the electronic registration information center, which is called ERIC, ERIC, expanded risk limiting post-election audits, hired the state's first full-time election security specialist, improved cooperation among local, state, and federal governments, and they continue these practices today. Now, I think it is my opinion that we have one of the best and secure voting systems in Michigan. Okay. They have an election security advisory commission to recommend reforms and strategies for ensuring the security of elections in Michigan. Now, the members of this commission include local officials, election specialists, and national experts in technology and data security. They have assessed Michigan's voter registration system and data and the process of voting and transmission of election results. The commission held hearings inviting input from citizens and experts on election problems and security, and they published a set of recommendations and reforms. Many of these reforms have been executed, creating regular backups of the qualified voter file data, updating the qualified voter file user permissions, and implementing user controls to help keep user lists current and up to date. They require all QVF users to undergo security training to getting access. They're monitoring voter registration activity for unusual data problems. They're conducting security review of online voter registration systems. They conducted additional data security for audits and penetration testing. They've provided model security contingency plans and emergency response materials for local jurisdictions. They conducted workshops and exercises and shared security best practices with local jurisdictions. They have expanded coordination with state and federal partners on IT and other election security issues. They've conducted the state's first statewide risk limiting audit pilot following elections. They've established a point of contact for reporting of misinformation. We are very, very lucky to have an election that we can be assured is safe. Now, one thing, let's talk about disinformation. Okay. Election officials can use strategic messages to help inform public communications and increase public access and participation and trust in the election process. That is their part. It is our part to be careful what we post. We need to be mindful of what we're sharing and posting online. We need to make sure that we're not sharing content that we're not sure of. We need to make sure that the information we're putting on social media is correct. I was taught to always go to the Secretary of State. And I have been very appreciative of that information. Anything you need to know, you go to the Secretary of State and you can find out. All the information I give you, I get it from the Secretary of State. I get it from other sources, and I make sure that the information I'm giving you is correct. Okay? I try to send voters directly to election officials' websites. I try to ensure that you're getting accurate election information. I try to openly communicate plans and procedures and processes, and I do not amplify or spread disinformation. Okay? I try to promote information that is a trusted source. Okay? And I try to do this because it's so important that our information about elections are accurate. I try to let you know that we can vote. I try to let you know why we're voting, okay? We're voting for the amount of taxes we pay. We're voting for our schooling. We're voting for our health care. We're voting for our roads to be prepared, to be repaired. We're voting for living in a neighborhood that doesn't flood. Here in Michigan, we have a lot of flooding. We're voting for our water system to work. We're voting for our electrical grid to work. We're voting for our children to be able to go to school and to be safe. We're voting for access to the internet. We're voting for truth. We're voting for having a peaceful life. We're voting for having groceries that aren't molded. We're voting for the prices to be livable. We're voting to be able to pay our rent and our gas and our lights. We're voting for people not to be homeless. when you go to the elections and when you cast your ballot, just remember that we need to think of voting as a privilege. It is a duty that we should love. It's not something we need to think of as a burden to endure. I want everyone to make voting your lifestyle. I hope that this podcast has been helpful to you. I just want you to know that we're there for you, and there's plenty of more information coming in our next month's podcast. We're coming up on September the 20th, which is National Voter Registration Day, and I'll have more information about that next month. I thank you once again for listening to Vote Voice. You can visit our website at www.votevoice.com. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Everyone, you have a wonderful day.